is a unique scenario for a Formula One Grand Prix. The track is artificially illuminated and is one of the longest and twisty of the season. There's also the added difficulty of the heat and humidity. Do you think it can therefore be described as the most tiring race of the year?
Singapore is a very demanding race, physically and also mentally very demanding. There is not room to mistake, and Singapore for sure will be tough for all of us.
Yeah, I think it's the most difficult race of the season. When you put everything together, the humidity, hot, the lights, because we race in the evening. I would say the track is quite difficult. It's very long circuit. I would say maybe one lap in Singapore is like 2 laps in Monaco. So I think when you put everything together, it makes the most difficult race of the season.
Singapore track is plenty of hidden traps. Is there a sector or one particular point where is it more important than elsewhere to drive perfectly to make a difference in terms of lap time?
Well, it's a straight circuit, so there is no room to mistake. Very narrow circuit in some of the sectors, and probably the last sector, turn 18, 19, that you go under the grandstand is probably the most critical place of the circuit, where a small loss of concentration or a small mistake can probably finish your race.
Well, I think you need to make everything precise. So if you make a single mistake, it will cost you definitely a few tenths, and it will cost maybe some positions, in the qualifying especially, is where you need to make a perfect lap, not making a single mistake, precise over the curbs, using the most important lines and areas on the track. So it makes for sure this lap on the qualifying more difficult than on the tracks, similar to Monaco, but quite tricky to make a perfect lap.
Of the two outstanding street circuits, is it harder to win at Monaco or Singapore?
I think both are very hard to win, and all the Formula One Grand Prix, they have different characteristics and different needs to win, but I think Singapore is a very special place to win a race, because it's a different atmosphere, it's a night race, and it's a very spectacular weekend in general. Monaco also is a very prestigious race with a lot of tradition in that circuit, so both are different, but both are important races in terms of repercussion of that particular win.
Well, I think it's harder to win in Singapore. It makes the race a little bit more difficult than Monaco because it's much longer, it's on the evening, hot, so it is definitely a bit more difficult to win in Singapore than Monaco. It's also very difficult race in Monaco to win, but maybe Singapore is slightly more.
From now on, there are 7 races outside Europe, which all offer little breathing space between them. How have you prepared for this final rush? Did you do anything special?
Well, I think the calendar is very stressful now in the last part, with many races concentrated out of Europe. We prepare quite good in August break. We didn't have so many holidays this year, and we try to prepare physically at 100% because we know that we will have very little time with all the traveling and all the changing countries all the time now for the next 2 months. So I think we arrive 100%, and we try to do our best in the last races.
Yeah, we always try to train on the physical direction every day when you can, at home, on the different countries, in the hotel. I think it's important to find a couple of hours every day to do your training, to be very good on the psychological way as well. So I think that's really important, and so it's a long second part of the season, especially now. We have every race is in a different country, between Asia, South America, so it's a lot to work, but it's important to be prepare on the physical point of view and on the psychological point of view.
You have taken part in 5 races, winning 2 of them, as well as finishing third twice and fourth once. You also took 1 pole position and set 2 fastest race laps. Do you feel particularly comfortable on this track?
Yeah, I feel good. I think it's one of the circuits that I was performing well all the times that I arrived there. In 5 editions, 4 podiums, and this is a good sign for again this year, arriving there full of optimism and good confidence to do well again.
Singapore is the only night race of the calendar. How different does it feel driving under spotlights rather than in natural light?
It's very different driving in Singapore compared to the other tracks. And you drive on the evening with the lights. The view is never the same as the normal races. Plus, you are in the middle of a difficult track, always close to the wall, to the guardrail, and I think it makes definitely the longest race of the season. Is always 2 hours, this race, and very difficult for physically, for the psychological as well. This race, so I think that's is the real difference between Singapore and the other tracks. Together, everything together makes the race quite different.